let's get started in child's pose. I don't know if you know what that is. I'll explain everything. So starting at the back of your mat, your knees can be as wide as the mat. And you sit on your heels, and then you reach those hands forward. Yeah. And since it's just us, you can let me know how you're feeling. And as much as this is tight, you okay?
I don't know how I feel.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm okay.
Okay, so if you can, relax that forehead on the mat. And we're gonna take a couple breaths here, centering ourselves before we start moving. And in my classes, I always focus on support. So finding awareness of what in our physical environment is supporting us. So sensing the ground underneath us, the points of contact, and feeling like with every exhale, we can let go a little bit more of our weight into the earth. And next we can focus on our ribs, so sensing how our breath moves us. So not only opening the ribs to the front, but also opening the ribs side to side, and even in the back. Yeah. So shifting our attention there as we take a couple more breaths. How are your shoulders feeling? Okay, 2 more breaths. All right, let's walk up to all fours. Yeah. So the hands are underneath our elbows and elbows underneath our shoulders. And let's start by taking tiny circles to the left. Yeah. And then to the right. Nice. Then we'll pause in the center and we're gonna do some cats and cows, which is, they call them. I actually don't really know why. Well, I know cat because it looks like a cat. But it's basically, you start by arching your spine. This is called a cow pose. And then when you exhale, you curve the spine in like an angry cat. Yeah, nice. And I always invite students to move at their own pace. So maybe you feel like moving extra slowly today or a little faster. Do you feel any tightness?
Yeah.
Where? Okay, be more specific. Where?
Shoulders.
Your shoulders, okay. We'll stretch the shoulders. But if you feel pain at any point, then we'll stop. You're good. And the beautiful thing about this practice too is connecting the movement to the breath. So it feels good for me to inhale a cow and exhaling cat here. But if it feels good to move another way, feel free. 2 more. Nice. We're gonna tuck the toes Your toes are tucked. So yeah, stay here. We're gonna curve that spine so much that we lift those knees off. So this is called floating tabletop. And I like to add an extra challenge, so we're gonna rotate those hips. So we'll tap the left and then the right knee, yeah. But this is coming ideally from the rotation of the hips, so we can feel a spiral happening in our back and a twist. We'll do this for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then we'll extend our legs back into downward dog. And if you need to, you can walk up so that, yeah, we're on the mat. So in downward dog, our intention is to send those heels towards the earth and spreading those fingers. So spread those fingers as much as you can. And spread those toes. I know. Is this your first downward dog ever?
Yes.
Okay. Shake the head no. And nod the head yes. And let's bring those knees down for a second and extend those arms forward. This is called puppy posture. This might be a lot on the shoulders again. And if you want, you can keep the chin on the mat or the forehead on the mat here. And we're gonna take 3 collective breaths. So inhaling in. And especially since we want to focus on the shoulders, imagining like you can open up. I know this is super direct, but feel like you're opening up the armpit area so that you can relax those shoulders a little bit more. And 2 more breaths. Nice, and then we're gonna pull forward. So keeping those elbows on the mat, we're gonna roll through our backs and come into, this is called Sphinx posture, like the sphinxes out in Egypt. So let's send our gaze up to the sky. And let's take 3 collective breaths here. So the intention is to keep the hips on the mat, but that we're allowing the spine to curve up towards the sky, yeah. Finding length and width across the chest. Two more breaths. Sending energy past the toes so our legs are extending. Yeah. One more breath. Nice. Let's press up first on those hands. This is called seal posture, yeah. You seem to have a pretty flexible back. Or are you in pain? Are you okay? Okay, I just want to make sure. And if you can, walk those hands a little further. And press up, yeah. And then we're gonna keep those toes flat and send the belly button to spine as we come back up. Downward dog, yeah. We're gonna take one big inhale here. And on the exhale, step or hop to the front of the mat. And we're gonna grab opposite elbows. If you can, extend through those knees, yeah. And we're gonna swing side to side, relaxing the head down. So feel like the weight of the head can be, I don't know how to describe this, supported by gravity. It can be a lot on the backs of the legs. So we're gonna place the hands on the shins. This is called, it's like a flat back position, and press into those shins, creating a flat back as much as we can. So extending past the crown, past the tail. Okay, maybe a little higher. Is that easier? Yeah, okay, that's fine. We're here to learn. And then relax down. This is forward fold. We're gonna place those hands on the mat and step the left foot back, the right foot back. Obviously, this is a plank. This next section of moves is what they call a vinyasa. It's just a term for the move, but we're gonna bend those elbows like a push-up to the ground and then press up to upward facing dog. where we just were. Inhale, and exhale, step back, or step one foot underneath you and the other into downward dog. So that little section from the push-up to the downward dog is called a vinyasa. Yeah, vinyasa. So let's take a big breath in and exhale. We're gonna do that one more time. So either step or hop to the front of the mat. And this time, let's interlace our fingers and place them behind our neck. And we're gonna do the same, invite the same motion, but maybe finding a little bit of length in the back of the neck. And release down. Let's place the hands on the thighs this time, pressing up into our flat back. And we want to think of even the more you press into the legs, the more you can almost like separate the torso from the legs. So creating length and relax down. And we're going to take another vinyasa. So step to the back. We bend those elbows. We come through upward facing dog. And exhale, downward dog. How was that? It was good? Okay, we're gonna do that a little bit faster. So inhale here, and if you wanna try and hop, you send the weight obviously into those hands and you just hop those legs forward. Relax down, forward fold. Placing the hands, maybe let's send them back this time and do a flat back and relax. And then we're gonna place those hands down, coming back through our vinyasa. And upward facing dog. And exhale, downward dog. So we're gonna add moves in between that, yeah? But the vinyasa is like a, kind of like gives rhythm to the practice because we keep coming back to it. So we're gonna extend that right leg up. So maybe walk those feet a little further in if you need the support, and then extend the right leg back. We're gonna inhale here, and as much as you can, send that knee to the right elbow. Yeah, and we're gonna draw some, you're like entering my world. I call these rainbows, but just little arcs. From elbow to elbow, or armpit to armpit for 5. Building strength, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now we place the foot down into our lunge. Let's relax the back knee on the mat. So you can bring that foot underneath the knee. Yeah. Hopefully you're feeling a stretch. Yeah. Are you stretching? Yeah. Okay, inhale those arms up overhead. And let's grab a hold of our left wrist and pull up and over. Inhale and exhale, come back to center. We'll take it to the other side. And come back. 2 more times. And center. Do you have one more in you? One more time. And come back. And up. Nice. And we're gonna paint those arms down and press to extend this front leg and relax the upper body down. This is called half monkey. So can maybe, yeah. And we want to, as much as we can, keep those legs parallel. So you can rotate this. Yeah, so we want to make sure like the knee and the foot are in line. Yeah. And then relax down. We'll stay here for 3 breaths. If you're in pain, don't go that far. Actually, wherever you are, more so think of like extending the leg, you know? So, yeah. So we'll start from wherever you are. And then, as much as you can, maybe all it is like fingertips on the mat. And then relax the head down. Yeah. 2 breaths here. Nice. On your next cycle of breath, we're gonna walk back into the lunge. You can tuck the back foot, so and we're gonna take a spiral up. So we're rotating to open up to this right side. Nice. And maybe we send that arm all the way to the back, and we're gonna take 3 big circles. Inhale, and exhale, and inhale, and exhale. And last one. Nice. And framing this front leg, and we're gonna come back into the vinyasa. So we send the leg back into our plank. We bend those elbows. We come through upward facing dog. Inhale and exhale, downward dog. And we're gonna step or hop to the front of the mat. And this time we're going to roll up like a dancer's rolling up in an 8 count. So slowly roll up to standing. And we'll meet in what's called mountain pose, which for us regular humans is just standing. And whenever you're there, we'll inhale those arms up overhead. Hands come to prayer position if you feel comfortable. And we'll bring those hands to our, what we call heart center, to our chest. And if you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes, but I invite you to set a dedication for this practice. So in Sanskrit, the Indian language that yoga was written in, the dedication is called Sankalpa, and it's for someone or something that may benefit from the energy that we co-create together. Nice. Trusting that dedication or intention is coming true, we'll open those eyes and we'll inhale those arms up. And we're going to take a side bend to the right. And come back to center. Going up and over to the other side. And coming back. And inhale. And one more. Nice. We're going to open those hands and do what we call I don't know why, now I'm questioning all these names, but it's because it's called a swan dive down. So all it is coming down in a flat back. I know, I love that. Wait, what were you gonna give me? You were gonna give me some arms? We usually flex those palms, but I like this. So I like this. I like it though. Okay. So let's press up, maybe keep those fingertips on the mat, flat back. And then come down, forward fold, step or hop to the back of the mat. And then we'll come through our vinyasa again. Into downward dog. How are you feeling? You're good? Okay. So now we're gonna inhale that left leg up and send the knee to left elbow and take our little half circles for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then we'll send that leg into our lunge, allowing the back knee to rest. Yeah, nice. And we'll inhale those arms up. And let's take some intentional breaths. So let's inhale those shoulders up intentionally and exhale, drop it down. 2 more. And 1 more. Nice. So now let's grab gently the right wrist and take a side bend. And center. Two more. And center, my spine just cracked. And one more. Nice. And release those arms. And we'll place those palms towards the floor as much as we can, extending this front leg. And sometimes one side is more flexible than the other. Yeah, and we'll do the same thing, reaching towards that front leg, wherever you are. We'll take 3 collective breaths here. One more breath. Then we'll come back into the left lunge, right palm on the mat and twisting open to the left side. Nice. And we're gonna draw those circles, but let's start the other way. So reach forward and exhale on the way back. And inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. I think we did all of them. So come back, frame this front leg. We'll send the leg back to plank. Coming through our vinyasa. And downward dog. Noticing the pace of our breath. So maybe we feel like the heart rate picked up. Or sometimes we feel a little calmer. Let's bring those knees, towards the mat. And we're gonna take what's called camel pose. It's just what it's called. And we'll start with half camel. So we can tuck those toes. Well, let's actually rotate this right arm up and around to gently touch the heel. And we'll start by extending the opposite arm. And as much as you can release the head back. And we're gonna be sending those hips forward, so it's essentially working on our flexibility of our back. We'll take 2 breaths here. And coming up. How was that for you? Okay, yeah? So let's take it to the other side. Left hand to left heel. And as much as you can, we're sending those hips forward. Yeah, exactly. Do you feel a little bit of a stretch? A lot? Okay. One more breath. And coming back up. So this next one, we don't have to do the full pose if you're feeling like it's a lot, but the full expression is to have both the hands on the heels. So we'll send one arm to the heel, the other to the heel. We're opening up the shoulders. If you feel like you want to relax the neck back, you can, but as much as we're relaxing the head back, we're sending those hips to the front. We'll stay here for 3 collective breaths. And then let's place one hand on the back, the other on the back. It can be a lot. We'll tuck those toes and take a seat, and we'll come back into our child's pose where we started. Sometimes I like to rock my forehead. If your forehead touches, oh, you have a hat on, but it's okay. You can massage the sides of your forehead or your temples on the mat. Sometimes you can find a place that feels a little tender and stay there a little longer. Nice. And from here, we're going to transition back to all fours. And let's do this. Let's stand back into our plank. Inhale. We're going to take some rotations in, like, basically from side to side. So we'll extend up, side plank, inhale. And exhale, come through center. And inhale to the other side. Nice. And 2 more times. One more. Can we keep going? How are you feeling? So we're going to change the rotation of the arm. We're going to go up and around and come down. Other side. And as much as we can, extend past those fingers. So it's like we're creating an arch with our hips. And last one. And coming back to plank, bending those elbows. Let's relax. Place the right ear on the mat. Take a deep breath. And switch left ear on the mat. Nice. So this stretch is specifically for the shoulders. So we're going to extend those arms out in a T. We'll bend that left arm and we're going to start to roll onto our right side. And if it feels comfortable to do so, you can support yourself with your left leg. So this arm can stay straight, but you're right. So if you feel like you have more mobility, you can actually do what you were doing, which you'll naturally feel more of a stretch if you start bending the right arm. But you can also keep it straight as you roll over. But if you're not feeling a stretch, you can also start to bend that right elbow a little bit like you were doing. How are you feeling? You're feeling? Okay. So if you want to take it further, on top of bending the right arm, you can also really try and rotate those hips. So I'm also working on my shoulder flexibility, we'll say that. But some people can rotate almost all the way and place both their feet on the mat, but that is still a work in progress for me. And let's breathe there. And wherever you feel the stretch or the discomfort, I invite you to send your inhale there. So when we inhale, we're inhaling nutrients into the body. So imagine all those nutrients going to the area that we're focusing on. And relax, come back to center. How was that? So let's bring those arms to our sides and roll out those hips. So just shake side to side, relaxing those shoulders down. And we're going to place our forehead back on the mat, and we'll do some back strengthening exercises. So we'll really imagine that the front part of our hips are glued to the earth, and we're just gonna lift up the torso. Inhale up, and exhale down. Energy past those fingers. We'll do this for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 more. Can we hold it up there for 5, 4, 3, bring those arms up overhead, 2, and 1, relax down. Let's bring those arms to the T, and we'll take the stretch to the other side. So again, if you want, you can bend this elbow for a deeper stretch, but otherwise we'll use the fingers of our right hand to allow us to rotate and open up that left shoulder. Three more collective breaths here. And come back to center. This time, let's place our hands underneath our forehead, making a little pillow, and shake it out as much as you need. And we're gonna do the same back strengthening exercise, but this time focusing on our legs. So our torso is gonna stay on the mat, and we're gonna keep those hips on the mat, but as much as we can, we'll lift those legs. So you'll feel, and activation of those hamstrings and glutes primarily. So let's inhale in. As you exhale, lift those legs and down, and we'll do this for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's keep those legs lifted for 5. Can you lift them a little higher? 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax down. This next pose is called boat pose. And if you can, we're going to capture one leg, the ankle, and actually start by just stretching the quads here. And then we're going to gently capture the other leg. Yeah. Stretch out that quad. And whenever you're ready, we're going to press into those hands, and that allows us to lift the chest up off the mat. And you might be feeling this in the shoulders, I don't know. So we're gonna inhale and relax down. 2 more. 1 more. And relax all the way down. It's okay, it's your first time. I don't mean it in any bad way. You're good? It's harder than it looks, right? Yeah. So, for simplicity, let's go onto our backs here. So we'll turn to face the other way. This is my favorite transition. Let's cross the right leg over the left. Take a figure 4 stretch. hand, if you're using both hands, you can use that right elbow to press. So if you go in between, yeah, and you use the right elbow to press into the right leg here. We'll take 3 gentle breaths here. Now let's send our focus here to our exhale. So inhale into the nose. And exhale, feel like you can drop those shoulders into the mat. Yeah. 2 more. And 1 more. Nice. And relax everything down. We're going to do another pose here. This is called cloud pose. Yeah, I don't know why. I wish I knew why. So we're going to press into our hands, and this is kind of a playful pose. So we're going to use initially momentum to send those legs behind us. Yeah, and you can use those hands to support your hips. And as much as you can, allowing the toes to reach towards the floor. This can be a big stretch for the back. Let's do here for 2 more breaths. And then we're going to transition into what they call shoulder stand. So using those hands as support, we'll send those legs up to the sky. And we want to create, as we're working on it, a straight line between those toes and our shoulders. So that's the goal. So we're activating our lower abs. And then whenever you're ready, we'll just roll out of that. Placing the arms in a T, and we'll let the knees rock to the right. Gaze take a little to the left. Noticing how we feel. And then we'll switch, send those knees to the left. Gaze to the right. Nice, and coming back to center. I'll send those feet towards the earth. And I want to check in if you feel like you want to stretch something in particular.
What helps with the lumbar?
Yeah? Do you feel like tightness in the lumbar? Yeah. So let's take another twist. Do you feel like the twists are making it tighter or less further relaxing?
Twist is like very relaxing. It helped a lot.
So let's take another twist. That's exactly what I was thinking. So allow this left leg to go across the body. Is that right? Yeah, and as much as we can, we'll send our gaze to the opposite side. So we're looking towards the left. And if you want, you can even place this hand on wherever it feels a little tight and just give yourself a little extra warmth or support. breath can travel, it does to a certain extent. It affects all of our organs because our lungs are right on top of all of this. And as you're inhaling and exhaling, imagine those hips, that they have a little bit more space to move. And sometimes that can allow any tension that's in the lumbar, lower back to slowly kind of melt away, as if creating space in the hips is allowing any discomfort to just pass through down and out the body. And if you want to take a little bit more of a twist, you can straighten this top leg, reach towards the toes. Switch to the other side, but before we do, let's pause in the center and notice how you feel. So how are you feeling?
Feels good. My knees stretched out.
Yeah, do you notice the difference between your left and right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll take that to the other side. Allowing the right leg to go over. You're out of breath? Yeah. You can send your gaze towards the right. People think it's like stretching is not important or that it's not intense, but sometimes it's harder than it is.
Yeah. I think people know that stretching is good, it's just, they don't know how to stretch correctly.
Yeah, I do. That's cool. And then if you want, you can extend this top leg, reaching towards those toes. And then slowly, when you're ready, come back to center. And let's place those hands by our sides, and we're going to take 3 bridges together before we finish our practice. So pressing into those palms, we're going to inhale and exhale gently with those hips up towards the sky. And as if you were massaging your spine and your spinal cord, one vertebrae at a time, melting down on the mat. To come all the way down. And we're going to take 2 more of those. Inhale. And exhale, pressing up. And relax down. And last one, moving at your own rhythm. And when you're ready, coming down. Again, feeling space inside and on the outsides of those hips. And we'll just extend those legs and come into what we call the final resting posture. Shavasana, so you can close those eyes. And usually at the end of the yoga class, this is kind of a short meditation, so centering ourselves back on our breath. Truly sensing the support of the earth. And noticing how maybe we feel different from when we started class. Relaxing the forehead, creating space in between the eyebrow.
the earth, so anything that's in contact, allow it to sink a little bit deeper. And I want us to come back to the intention or dedication that we set halfway through class. And come back and visualize it. Trusting that the energy we're sending to it will help in whatever way we can. And lastly, I want us to bring a color to mind, representing how you might feel. And we're going to envision that color as a light. Maybe for you, its origin or it's originating from the heart, but maybe today you feel like that's originating from maybe the mind or the feet or wherever you feel that light is coming from. I want you to really trust that that light is a sense of protection, a sense of peace, and a sense of joy. And it's our own light that we carry each day. And we never feel shame or any negative emotion because our light is ours and it's unique. And take 3 more breaths in. Whenever you're ready, you'll start to wiggle those toes and those fingertips, bringing some movement to the body. Maybe taking some circles of the ankles or fingers and elbows. Take a big stretch. And whenever you're ready, you'll come to meet in a seated position, facing the front. Actually, no, facing here. In a crossing position. And I close my classes. If this isn't comfortable, you can explain this later. Okay, we're gonna inhale those arms up. Touching fingertip to fingertip at the top. And we come through the center line, triangle line, and I like to imagine it from cleansing. You believe your spirit or your center to work. Taking time to integrate all the changes that we've just experienced, and this is our last one. Capturing something beautiful up overhead. And then we tap our thumbs to our forehead or our third eye, honoring our wisdom. And we tap our lips on our nurture.